Now back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790. Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency, Gaston's White River Resort, and Barton Power Sports.
Let's play some music here on Outdoors with Larry Ray. Oh, I love this. Oh, this is my kind of music. Yeah. Oh, you know what we're talking about this morning, folks. We're talking turkey here. And, of course, Ron Wong slipped into the room here. And off the air, they had to talk fishing with Bill Cooksey just to make sure what was going on up there at Kentucky Lake. So I knew we would
know.
Well, the next thing we'll know, we'll be talking food. And we don't need to do that right now. So we're going to talk turkey here on Outdoors with Larry Ray. This is 90 minutes of nothing but turkey talk. And one of the most anticipated shows that I do each year, and we're really privileged to have, he's over there, Charles Petrie, Ray Glass, Russell Ginn, Steve Turpin, Bill Cooksey, and myself in here this morning. Greg Ratliff is our show producer, and our next guest is, if you haven't got a copy of his book, Passion of the Wild, you need to get it because he's got some great stories inside of it about not only his passion of the wild, but he brings in his day-to-day walk, and that's our good friend Mike Giles. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning. How y'all doing?
Hey, we're doing great, Mike. When we talk turkey, we're always doing great and everything. And of course, we could throw in it. Mike used to be, pro bass. So he'll do some fishing in his off season, right, Mike?
Amen. I do a little guiding right now. Just come off the water with a bunch of slabs of crappie late yesterday afternoon.
There we go. Ron Wong, he's talking about crappie fishing. Get out here, Ron. We're going to talk turkey. Yeah, he needs to come down there. Ron said that. Here we go. But Mike is out of Meridian, Mississippi, for you folks out there, and an outdoor writer out of Meridian, and well known with our good friend Otha Barham down there, but also a seminar speaker. He's done some great talks, but his book is out. And tell the listener a little bit about the book itself, Mike.
Well, it's about my passion, and of course my passion does lie in the wild, and I talk about people overcoming obstacles, killing big deer, catching big bass, just all kind of challenges, and people, rising to the occasion. And sometimes it's a different way of looking at that obstacle. And, I talk about a few turkey stories in there, and one of my turkey stories is carpe diem. One morning I got up, took my shower, got dressed to go to work, and long story short, my wife comes in from her walk. She said, I think I got some good news for you. I said, what kind of good news could she have for me? I heard a turkey gobble on my walk. Well, she went the wrong way down the road where I told her not to go, and she hears this big gobbler up on the roost, and just happens to be where I can hunt.
Oh, it just happens to be where you hunt, yeah.
That's exactly right. You know what I did? I put on some of those mesh, camo mesh things that goes right over your clothes, and, I had to seize the day. and that's what it's all about to me, is getting out in the outdoors in the spring, turkey woods, and hunt those gobblers in the morning and catch the crappie and bass in the afternoon.
Well, this is our good friend Mike Giles. Been with the Meridian Star down there since 1992, and you've read his works on the Mississippi Sportsman, a lot of magazines and things along that line, and he was named in 2008 the Mississippi Wildlife Federation Conservation Communicator of the Year. In 2011, the adult photographic competition, that organization, but he also loved to turkey hunt. But Mike does it a little bit different. Mike, you don't really need a call, do you? Did y'all hear that? Now, so we don't know what he's got with him right now. He could really be pulling our leg, but that was really him.
That's right. Natural voice.
Yeah, it wasn't your wife, was it? She wasn't yelling at you or anything like that.
I wish it was, but I tell you, them old gobblers you have to be careful what you're doing, but and I am on a cell phone out here in the woods this morning, but them old gobblers, they don't like to hear anything like that.
Well, I know, and you just ruined everybody in here that makes calls. They all just plugged their ears when you did that. You just cost them some money, but it is. Was that something that you just developed over the years? How do you do that?
I went to, and let me say, I would like to use every one of their calls, by the way.
Okay.
I collect calls to kill.
Okay.
And, to hunt with.
All right. Well,
And, but Jack Dudley from DeKalb, Mississippi in 1969 won the world championship with his natural voice. And I went to a seminar with him, and he said, you want to learn how to talk turkey, you get you a gobbler and 2 hens. He said, all them hens going to sound different. Don't worry about sounding like everybody else. You just imitate what they're doing, listen to what they're doing. And I started doing that, and it took me a long time. I called myself Jake Goblin a lot because, gobblers don't like Jakes. But I can do various tones, and I can do a real... When I got started, everybody wanted to do raspy, and I still like raspy. But my main yelp is a real clear, more of a higher pitch yelp, and it's different than most people now. And it's just another thing I can do that's different. So, I just, over the years, just practice everywhere I'm going.
So you're driving down the street and you stop at a red light. You're just sitting there making noises like this, and
that's right.
Yeah.
And if you got your own turkeys around the yard, you'll hear some whines and some light noises that you don't hear. I mean, you go to a calling contest, and I'm not running them down, but everybody's trying to sound a certain way for the judges.
Yes.
And I've won several hundred calling contests, but the outdoor kind. And that old judge was sitting up on a tree roost, and
oh yeah,
when he come down, and so I'm not trying to sound like everybody else, but I want to talk turkey, and I like to do it with slate, glass, box calls, and of course my own voice. In
your own voice, and this is our good friend Mike Giles. Tell them, Mike, how they can get in touch with you. Maybe about the book. Maybe they'd like to get a guide trip or something. How do they get in touch with you?
That's right. Call me at 601-917-3898, or they can go online at www.passionofthewild.com.
And you can get that information. We got it on lroutdoors.com also, how to get in touch. Mike, thank you, buddy. Go get one this spring.
Thank you.
All right. We'll talk to you. Let's hear some music before we leave, Mike. There you go, Mike. We'll see you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right, Mike Giles, one of our good friends from down in Meridian, Mississippi, a person who doesn't need a call, but he asked for all of y'all to send him one. You noticed that there. So
he will use one.
I bet he uses one in the woods
I
as
think
often
he
as
does.
not.
Yeah.
Most natural voice callers do.
Yeah, I think they do too. They do those kind of things. And again, we're talking to Steve. Steve, the Yelper, as he was talking about with you, Turpin family is famous for the Yelper.
Right.
I mean, even though you make other calls.
Yeah, and, it's just because this was the design that we came up with. It's basically like a wing bone, but it's a wing bone of controlled dimensions.
Yes.
So you get the proper sounds where it's not deep. Every wing bone's different how God creates the bones.
Yeah.
So.
And the different ones, because I know Charles makes that plain Jane box call, which I use because he makes them, and there's some special calls over there that he makes. The wood. Let's talk about the wood here a little bit, fellas. Charles, you're pretty selective about what you make those box calls out of.
Yeah, I'll make a lot of firewood too.
Okay.
I like persimmon. I like Honduras mahogany. I like butternut. They make the best calls. I've started using some southern poplar. Poplar is real good. With magnolia, it makes real good calls. It just depends on what you got to match the lid to the box.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And keep working with it. Sometimes you can throw one lid away and put another one on there. Best thing to do is go sleep on it overnight and come back and start over again. But what he was talking about a while ago about calling turkeys, if you listen to the turkeys in the woods and mimic what they're doing, you'll kill a turkey.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. If you play your own game, you're going to go home empty-handed.
Yes, yeah. And a lot of I've gone home empty-handed quite a lot of times, but the experience of being in there. So what kind of wood do you use over here?
Well, like on the Yelpers, I like to use a hard, high-density wood that's going to project the sound.
Yeah.
If you use a softer wood, it's going to absorb it. So I want to project that sound. On box calls, I use a lot of exotics.
Exotics. What?
Well, I mean, I use a lot of teak.
Okay, teak.
A lot for the box, and I do use black walnut some and mahogany and.
So what is this Yelper that you've got around your neck made
This
out
is
of?
cocobolo.
That's cocobolo.
It comes from South America.
Okay.
The box is teak. Use a lot of beech for the lids, Purple Heart, different exotics, and like he was saying, I may go through as many as 10 lids before I find one that's going to match up with that box, and it has to sound good on both sides, or it's not going to work.
It's gone.
Yeah.
So you just get rid of it, and it's firewood, he says.
That's right.
So what are you going to say?
Well, I have probably like Steve. I sit down, I may have 30 or 40, 50 box lids there. And before I ever attach them, I work them back and forth on the box. And once they start giving me a desirable sound, then I will attach it and work from that on. But I may take it off and go to another one because it's just a particular sound you're looking for, and if that sound's not there, it's just not a good call.
Well, I know that Charles Petrie has probably given away more box calls than any human alive for me on wild game dinners that I've been to 12 this year, and I know I've given away at least 4 of those and auctioned off another one because the Plain Jane box call is out there for a lot of folks, and I appreciate you, Charles, doing this because I know it's a labor of love for you when you get right down to it. All right, let's take another break. Guys, we got, do we have one segment? We got 2 segments left. Yeah. No, I'm really glad on this, too. All right, let's take another break. Little music as we leave here, guys. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, go.